Hi, my name is Nick, and today I'm going to be talking about SCUM. SCUM is an open-world zombie survival horror game dedicated to bringing you a tense survival experience. You are a prisoner, exiled to an Eastern European country to survive and fend for yourself in an unforgiving world. Here are my first thoughts on the game. I'd like to go back to 2012. The open-world survival genre is about to hit its peak. Games like DayZ, WarZ, and Rust are getting massive followings and player bases. People have always dreamed of a beautiful zombie survival horror game, and DayZ has finally delivered. Or so we thought. Ever since its release, the game has been losing players. People aren't interested in the zombie survival genre, not nearly as much as they used to. DayZ hasn't hit beta yet, and it has been 6 years. Not exactly a good way to keep your player base. The problems with DayZ are endless. Issues that have been in the game since its launch are still in the game to this day. You'd think they would have resolved these problems. Of course, with all these flaws, there's something I felt in DayZ I haven't felt in any game before. The tension. I'd like you to imagine something. You've spent hours getting the best loot you can. You have a gun with ammo, food, water, medical supplies, body armor. You've worked for your gear, and now you feel you can get even more. You spot a military base just a few hundred meters out. You decide to loot it up. You're picking up useful items, maybe a new sight for your gun, or hell, even a new gun entirely. Then you hear the door open at the front of the barracks. There's footsteps. A fully geared player has entered. Not only that, you hear a second one. It's his friend. Your blood starts to pump. You can feel your heart beating, and the feeling of true terror washes over you. You decide to stand your ground in the room you are in. You get your back to the wall and your new M4A1 you picked up aimed at the door. The door opens, a deafening sound of gunfire follows, and you're spraying aimlessly until your magazine runs dry. You look ahead and one of the players' corpses is lying there lifeless. You won, but you remember there's a second one. You wait a little longer till you hear footsteps. A massive blast completely drowns your headphones. You're still standing, but a grenade has fractured both of your legs. You can't run or move, so you stand your ground a little longer. You hear the footsteps again. In comes running the player that threw the grenade outside your room. The gunshots fill the air again. He thought you were dead, but now he's the one on the floor. Hoping that one of the corpses had morphine, you loot their bodies dry. Use a stick of morphine you found on one of the bodies to heal your broken legs. You are now completely geared, you have enough food to last for days, and you have enough ammo to ride out several fights just like this one. Your heart finally rests as you run away, black and white from blood loss, but proud and fully geared. This situation has happened to me several times. DayZ delivered this to me, and no other game could ever come close. The stories go on, and when you include friends, hell, there's nothing like it. Now let's take a look at SCUM. First loading in, my instinct was searching houses. All the practice from DayZ, I'm assuming. I loot up until I find some food, water, and an M9 Beretta with just chambered rounds. I spot a military base. Immediately I remember the good times of DayZ. I get excited and rush over to the base to see what's going on. I spot a broken hole in the wall and rush in. Immediately I spot something completely alien to me when comparing to DayZ. A fucking mech. I panic and try to wrap my confused mind around the fuckery of the situation. I've realized that I'm going to play this one stealthily. Because of the way I designed my character, he has a ton of dexterity. With a massively in-depth character design and character stats, I sneak around the first part of the base incredibly well. Taking down zombies in the dark while trying to hide from these metal anal pounders can really get your heart beating. Using the beautiful melee combat system, I take down the final zombie to get to the final weapon stockpile. I grab an AK, a magazine, all kinds of ammo, vests, the works. I'm ready to get out. I peek just a tiny bit to hear a mind-numbing sound of a missile rocketing beside me. Fucking panic mode. I rush to grab the last of the loot and rush out of the wall I came from. I survived. My heart begins to rest and I log out to head to sleep. This game takes me back to 2012. Logging into it, I remember the good old days of DayZ. The tension, the loot, the fun, the survival. Only now it's so much more in-depth. The food impacts your calories, your protein intake, having to take a shit, having to piss. It's truly a masterpiece. When you ask the question of should I buy this game, ask yourself these instead. Do I like the tension? Do I miss the good old days of DayZ? And do I want a good survival horror game? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then give this game a try. It's fun, it's tense, it's all of the above. The only concern for me is how complex a metabolism system is. I work out, I eat healthy, I watch protein and calories in real life, I play video games to get away from that. Of course, it's part of the game, so I'll manage. Keep in mind that this is an early access game. It's going to have hackers, bugs,